Things are happening quickly in the Caribbean. The Secretary of War named the military operation down there Southern Spear, and President Trump has reportedly been briefed twice this week on options to strike inside Venezuela.
I sort of have made up my mind, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of made up my mind.
Our next guest, Senator Bill Hagerty of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator Hagerty, how much longer are we going to have 15,000 soldiers and sailors off the coast of Venezuela before something happens?
Well, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see the flow of drugs coming into this country dramatically reduced. I think President Trump is sending an incredibly important message. We've got 15,000 troops there. The USS Gerald Ford just moved into range there. That's an aircraft carrier and the destroyers with it. That's an impressive strike group. I think we're going to demonstrate we're not going to allow these drug cartels to move across our southern border. We've done everything we can to stop the human trafficking, the drug trafficking that's coming across land. Listen, they are killing 3,000 youth in my home state every year of drug overdose. The largest killer of young people in America between the ages of 18 and 45, drug overdose. 100,000 young people every year in America are dying from drug overdoses. President Trump is taking this very seriously. He's designated these narco-terrorists. He's going after them, and I think they need to get the message. And the amount of pressure that he's putting on the region right now, again, they're all in international waters. Let me be clear, they're in international waters. They're not operating in inside of any country's boundaries. But what they're doing is demonstrating our resolve, strong resolve, to stop the flow of drugs into this country, to stop the murder of young people here in America.
And like you were just talking about, on paper, this Southern Spear is all about drugs, but the focus is not on other places right now with big drug problems like Colombia and Mexico. It's just Venezuela. Why is that?
Well, I think what we're doing is demonstrating, again, resolve with a country that is operating way beyond any bounds of normality. Maduro is a thug. Maduro is essentially a terrorist. He's emptied his jails into America. You think about Trinidad Agra operating in my state and across this nation. President Trump is sending a very strong message to this nation to stop it, to put it, to put this back in the box and quit preying on America.
A different subject, a terrible first for the world this week. A Chinese-backed AI tool hacked about 30 places, including some financial institutions, without help from humans. So what is to stop these AI tools from wiping out the 401ks or the bank accounts of everybody watching?
Well, I think it's important to know that China used Anthropic, which is a U.S.-based tool. The only reason we know about this is because it's U.S.-based, and Anthropic disclosed the fact that its Claude model, its large language model, had been hacked and used for these nefarious purposes. Luckily, we do know about it. Anthropic is doing a number of things to address this, to stop it. I met this week with David Sachs, our AI czar in the White House. I met with a number of AI officials, the CEOs of AI companies in Silicon Valley this past week. This is something where we must lead. We must stay on the cutting edge of innovation. And from a regulatory standpoint, I want to make certain that in Congress, we're not doing anything to stop the ability of these cutting edge companies from operating here in America, putting us in a position to be way ahead of China so this type of thing doesn't happen and we can stay ahead of the competition here.
About 2 years ago, we tried to get the Biden White House talking about these threats from AI, and everybody in the room literally laughed. Listen to this.
There's an expert from the Machine Intelligence Research Institute who says that if there is not an indefinite pause on AI development, this is a quote, literally everyone on Earth will die. Would you agree that does not sound good?
Your delivery, Peter, is quite something.
It sounds crazy, but is it?
All I can say is that there's a comprehensive process in place.
How about now, Senator Hagerty? Is this funny?
I think what we're seeing is there really are serious threats. And the biggest threat of all, Peter, is if we step back and allow China to lead here, if we allow our adversaries to lead. Look, we understand what China's motives are. They floated a spy balloon over our country. They steal intellectual property on a regular basis. We need to make certain that leadership here in this field remains in America, that leadership in America is what everyone in the world is using, not Chinese models, but American models. Again, this is a critical national security issue. I think, as you said, we've seen it manifest itself just recently with these 30 countries that have been infiltrated. This competition is going to continue to mount. And again, I say we need to have the strength and the capacity here in America before all other nations.
And the last question, why isn't the extent of the damage done by this AI hack being made public? The full extent.
Well, Peter, the fact of the hack being made public, I think is incredibly encouraging. It would never happen had the Chinese used their own models. The fact that we know about the hack, the fact that Anthropic is working on it, the fact they're talking with leaders right now about how to address it, I think that's critically important, and it's a step in the right direction.
Senator Hagerty, thank you so much for being here on the Sunday Briefing. Hope to have you back sometime.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.